I'm finding a bunch of small diameter tree trunks like this one that have rubbings on them from male buck deer. They get like a velvety fur layer on their antlers and will rub on trees because I imagine it probably itches or something, and they rub on there to get that skin rubbed off and also to spread pheromones around. You look close, it's pretty neat. They rub on there and then shavings just fall off. So this top had broken off. I don't know if the deer itself had broken it or if it just, was weakened and blew over in the wind. And then about a foot up from there was more. So I imagine that was probably a taller buck that had done those rubbings. But I guess there's some experienced hunters out there that can actually read these signs and tell you what size deer have been moving through, how many of them, what direction they're even moving in. I don't really know anything about that, but I am going to be paying attention to these and just see if I notice any patterns because it's pretty cool to see. Almost any dead standing trees like this are covered in holes from woodpeckers. I've got a bunch of different types out here. I got the little small guys out and about everywhere, but then I've also got pileated woodpeckers, which are the largest woodpecker species in North America, and they stand about 18 inches tall. There's at least a pair of them because I've seen them together, but almost every day I hear them, and you can see some pretty big holes they put into this. And then there's trees like this one that you can see are still alive and beginning to bud for the season that the woodpeckers can't penetrate this hard outer bark, but then in areas where it's exposed, like the inside there, they'll go looking for insects there. It's kind of neat. Another tree where the woodpeckers are just chipping away at the inner heart of the tree there. That goes pretty far up there. Yeah, everything's starting to bud for the season. A lot of greenery poking out already. I want to say that this is more deer rubbing here. It looks very similar to the other ones with the shavings on the ground. But the thing is that's very high. And then up from there is even higher. I mean, that's reaching up like 6 feet tall. I don't think there's any deer doing that. So I don't know if it's just the woods really rotted and birds or other critters have gotten to it or something. I really don't know what's causing that unless there's a moose walking around these woods I'm not aware of. But if it was just that, I would have guessed deer. But since that goes so high up, or maybe that was deer rubbings, and then up there is just from something else. And then over here you can see a den. I don't know if it's currently being used or was in the past inhabited now or not, but there's I've seen a couple dozen of these around the property, and I don't know what lives in it or had in the past, but it's cool. I got no problem with them. Is my only worry is if it's something that's going to fight with brute, because let's say something dangerous were to come walking out of there right now. I'm smart enough to turn around and put some distance between me and it, but Brood will attack anything. I mean, that's just in his nature. So I just hoping for the remainder of his life he doesn't encounter anything that's going to be too dangerous. Another little den there down under the roots of this tree. I'm overrun with these little anoles right now. They're pretty cool. They like to come out and bask on the tarps or piles of lumber or anything and sits in the sun. And they're cool. As you can see, he lets me get pretty close before they run off. There's also a small skink species that's real common around here, but they're extremely skittish, and as soon as I get anywhere near them, they run off. Where these anoles, they're actually much more tolerant of me.